up, my nerds? Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, hello. My wife and I recently moved like halfway across the country with our 3 beautiful cats, so you can only imagine how amazing that adventure was. And so now that we're settled, I was like, I should do another YouTube video. Miranda, like, on what? Well, I'm about to tell you. So recently, there's been news that The Legend of Korra is going to be coming out on Netflix in August. So what did I immediately think about? Korra and Asami. For people who don't know, Korra and Asami, they're 2 women and they are in a relationship. It is canon. It's been confirmed officially in the comics following the series. And so with that, it sparked a conversation between my wife and I about LGBTQ plus representation in cartoons. So before we get into this video, I want to let you guys know of what we aren't going to be talking about today. Number 1, this isn't a should children be exposed to this kind of content video. Number 2, this isn't a should parents be allowing their children to watch these kinds of videos. I'm not a parent. Those are your kids. How you raise them is how you raise them. Is none of my business. But I remember being a child, so this video is going to be about on my experiences growing up without having that representation in cartoons, and how if that representation was in cartoons, how it might have affected me being more accepting of myself at a younger age rather than as an adult. So let's dive into it. A little bit of background about me. So I'm a lesbian. So growing up, you know, I thought like, oh, girls are cute. And the boys, nah, didn't really do it for me.
And I gotta tell you, they don't exactly do it for me.
So here I am, you know, playing house, being like the male figure. And then I realized the girls like the boys like the girls, but could girls like girls and boys like boys? And then my brain just like exploded because I didn't see it anywhere. I didn't even know it was a thing. So there's heteronormativity everywhere. Like LGBTQ plus representation just wasn't a thing. It's like, oh, I get it. So girls like boys, boys like girls. Okay, I got it. Some of you may be thinking, aha, the exposure to heteronormativity has worked. The child is now straight. No, that is not what happened. What actually happened was I was like, oh, you know what? Maybe I could just like magically become a boy one day. That way it's normal for me to like girls. That was my whole train of thought. Never once on like, oh, then I'll just like boys. That was not an option for me. It was like, okay, I'll just become a boy so that it's okay for me to like girls. I never suffered from gender dysphoria, and nor have I ever identified as trans. The only reason why I wanted to be a boy was so that it would be normal to like girls. Like if in my mind back then, if I could like be a boy for a little bit just so that it'd be okay for me to like girls and then like change back into a girl because I like being a girl, that would have been like my heaven back then because I didn't know being a lesbian was a thing. Of course, as I got older, I realized that you can't just turn into a boy. So then I was like, all right, I guess I just gotta fake it till I make it. So I'm pretending to be straight. Obviously, I didn't make it, so I couldn't do it. I tried, I couldn't do it. It's just, it's really hard pretending to be somebody that you're not. That's a big portion like that of yourself being hidden from everybody, especially the people who you're close to. It sucks. Hello, Aurora. It sucks hiding such a big factor of yourself because then it's almost like you don't want to slip up. So then you're covering up other things about yourself so you're not possibly exposing yourself. But Miranda, what does this have to do with LGBTQ plus representations in cartoons? Well, I'm going to tell you. Had I seen those representations as a child and noticed like, oh, hey, there are people who are like me, I got it. Okay, so it is normal. It's okay. I'm not the only person in the world who thinks this way. Because as a child growing up, I literally thought I was the only person in the world who thought the way that I thought. And also, I just want to say that I didn't grow up in like a homophobic environment. Like that's not how my family was at all. It wasn't like, you know, you better not be like this or, you know, blah. It was not like that. It was just, I didn't know. I had no idea that it was a thing. And by the time I did know it was a thing, I was just like, nah, I already got this pretend to be straight thing down. I'm gonna thug it out. as we know, it didn't work out. Had I had that exposure, I would have felt more comfortable living freely as the person that I am today. That's pretty much one of the main reasons why the LGBTQ plus representation in cartoons is important to me specifically. And again, this isn't a blanket statement like all kids should be watching cartoons with LGBTQ plus content and all cartoons should have the representation. All you guys are all bigots. That's not the message. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about everybody. I'm talking about me. I'm literally just sharing my experiences. For instance, let's go into Sailor Moon real quick. So the Western adaptation of Sailor Moon, I'm sure you guys know Sailor Uranus and Sailor Neptune, how they were cousins. But growing up, I was like, oh, okay, they're cousins. Like, cool. Didn't even think twice about it. And then even though like Amara was dressing up, you know, like as a dude, I was like, oh, she likes boy clothes like me. Like I like to wear boys clothes too. It's way more comfortable, way more freeing, whatever. I didn't think twice about that. But then when I saw like the other Sailor Scouts like fawning over Amara, I was just like, what's happening? Somebody make it make sense. So then I had to make it make sense to myself. So what did I do to make it make sense? I was like, okay, so when Sailor Uranus is Amara, like her human form, I guess, she's a dude. And then when she turns into Sailor Uranus, then she becomes a girl. Duh. Mind you, I didn't even know about the Sailor Starlights that came out like 2-3 seasons after that. So I was ahead of the game. Literally heteronormativity, like it was so ingrained in my mind that I was like, I have to make this make sense somehow for it to be a boy and a girl, because obviously two girls can like each other, even though that's how I felt. So for everybody who hasn't watched Legend of Korra, I'm going to give you a small synopsis on her relationship with Asami. So buckle in, because I'm about to speed through it. And if you haven't watched it and you want it to be a surprise, then skip. I don't know how long you need to skip for, but just skip. So Korra is the avatar after Aang. Aang is from Avatar The Last Airbender, and if you haven't seen that, you need to watch it. It's on Netflix. You have no excuse. Korra likes this guy named Mako. Mako likes Asami, so Mako and Asami start dating, and Korra's just like, nah, that's my man. So then Mako cheats on Asami with Korra, then Korra and Mako get together, right? And Asami's like, So then Mako and Korra break up, and then Mako and Asami hook up for like a brief second, but obviously it doesn't pan out because it didn't pan out the first time. Plot twist, you thought that, oh, Korra and Asami would hate each other. No, they are actually like really close friends, and then at the end they walk into the sunset holding hands, and then the comic books they end up kissing, and it's canon that they're together. So that was a long ride. But here we are. That representation, and then there's also another cartoon that I thoroughly enjoy, which is She-Ra, the Warrior Princess, which is the new Netflix adaptation. I can tell you, if I would have seen that as a kid, I would have been like, oh my goodness, like, that's me. Like, I'm She-Ra. Like, because she likes Catra, and Catra's a girl, and I like girls too, so I'm She-Ra. I would have immediately identified with that. And then I wouldn't have felt like I was this lone alien in the world. We can all appreciate the opportunity of at least having that representation, not just for our own benefit, but for others, just knowing that there are other people out there like us. Show me some love with a like and subscribe if you vibed. Leave a comment if you'd like to go deeper into the subject. I love a good conversation. And don't forget to click on that bell, because I will be dropping another video next week about my new coming out the closet story, because apparently I didn't even know the whole story. I literally found out the whole story 3 years ago, so I need to do an updated video on that. Tune in, and until next time, my nerds.